All right, what's up guys? So I'm going to be doing a little day in the life again of the iPhone 13 Pro. I have just the Pro model, not the Pro Max, but pretty much the same camera setup between the two. I still feel like the iPhone 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max are, to this day, even with the 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max out, I still feel like this is the better phone to get. The 14 has kind of been riddled with a lot of problems and issues, and while yes, it's the newest phone, I just feel like that the 13 is still outperforming it today. So we're going to do a quick camera comparison. If you want to see my full review of this phone, check out the link below, and to see more videos like this, be sure to hit that subscribe and the like button so that I show up in your feed. So let's go. Video stabilization, just checking out the walking. I'm here at the park near my house. This is the main rear facing camera. iPhones typically have really great stabilization. This is just handheld, as you can see, and really good sunlight. So tell me what you think. Good, bad? Usually it's really good. Flaring, anything? We'll see. A little windy, hope it's not terrible. I'm at a little nature trail close to my house shooting all this video, but it's called Turtle Point Nature Trail. It's just a little nice conservative trail here, but they do have a little boat launch for kayaks and canoes and stuff like that. A lot of people come. There's a big road, but it's off of that road over there, and a lot of people bike through here. It's got a walk track, stuff like that. So just exploring for the day.
So we just got done taking a look at the iPhone 13 Pro's camera. I know it's 2023. A lot of people are probably wondering, why are you doing iPhone 13 content? Well, if you're living under a rock, you have not noticed that the 14 has not really been performing well. There's been a lot of people who have argued that the camera hardware and software are not jiving real good, and that the 13 actually took better photos and videos than the 14. Again, a lot of this boils down to preference, but the 14 has been leaning more towards shooting with kind of more crushed or stronger blacks in the shadows. Again, it's a preference thing. I think this probably looks better. So let's talk about why I think that. Um, Apple's always kind of played everything safe. You've always had Android phones typically were more contrasty, sharper, sometimes maybe over sharpening, but it was almost like your Android phones would go to an extreme versus Apple would give you almost more real to life, cooler, toned down kind of photos that maybe weren't as contrasty or poppy. Um, Colors weren't as saturated, that sort of thing. I think we've seen a shift where the Android phones have started to come off that ledge a little bit, and we've seen iPhone kind of go more to that edge. And I think it's a good thing, and I think that we're seeing some of these things come to light where we've talked about a lot of people complaining that the iPhone 14 Pro, 14 Pro Max, even just the regular 14, shoot a little too hard contrast, and therefore they've got a lot of crushed blacks or deep blacks. Versus this device is not doing that. I have not really had any issues with iPhones for a long, long time how they shoot. I do think that there was a big jump between the iPhone 11 and 12. I had an 11, and then I knew people around me that had a 12 shooting similar scenarios almost side by side a lot of time. So I saw the 12 shooting a little bit better than my 11, which is why I upgraded and got the 13. I still think to this day you can't really go wrong with shooting on an iPhone, but one of my biggest issues is lens flare. I get it. It happens on all phones, but it seems like if it's really harsh sunlight, the iPhone is just really hard to shoot a video around the lens flare. The photos don't seem so bad. However, switching over to nighttime photography and videography, while I feel like iPhone is probably one of the better devices out there that shoots well in low light, if there's street lights, it's just really, really hard. I've seen a lot of people that I know have an iPhone. They've shot at night, and it almost looks like if you've seen those pictures where they say, this is what it's like if you drive with astigmatism and it's all the lines. That's to me kind of what I'm seeing with some iPhones at nighttime. Not all of them, definitely not Pro Raw and things like that. And I get you can shoot in those formats to get a little bit better quality, but they also eat a lot of battery. They also eat away at your storage. So for the average everyday user, we're just shooting these normally. And that's how I shot with this. I didn't change frame rates or anything on video. So all video was 4K 30 because that's just how it naturally opens up and shoots. But overall, I think it's a great camera system. I don't think it's the best. And that's kind of an issue with all devices. I think that there's some devices out there that shoot better pictures, but struggle a little bit in video. And I think there's other devices that I prefer how they shoot video in good lighting over the iPhone. And then there's the iPhone, which I think has some of the best, if not the best, stabilization and audio quality. But again, I'm fighting that lens flare. So you kind of have a compromise with all devices that are out there. There's really no perfect or even superior camera systems out there. They all have their pros and cons. They all do something better than the other when it comes to Samsung, Google, and Apple. And I think that that is just kind of what you have to figure out. I do think that iPhone's probably one of the more well-rounded ones, but nowadays it's so close that I don't really think you can go wrong with any of them. I would not put this at the top of my list for camera phones anymore, simply because I prefer picture quality and processing on some of the other Android devices that are out there. Again, that's a preference thing. And I also really can't stand the lens flare. So I would rather have a little bit, maybe more inferior video quality, uh, even when it comes to stabilization, over fighting lens flare, especially if I'm going to go post production on any of this kind of stuff. We see a little bit of that here, but overall, this was a very good test of how good the Apple quality, iPhone quality, one of the newest flagship quality pictures and video, how good they are. You see how easily and smoothly it transitions between lenses. I know that everyone kind of talks about that. I don't shoot that way in video, where I'm changing between, zoomed in, and I don't cut, I don't stop video and then go to another lens. I don't know who shoots like that, but maybe you do. Maybe you like that. I don't. It's a preference thing. Um, I don't film, zooming in and then zooming out and then going ultra wide and then coming back. To me, that's just a janky video. But hey, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But it does do it smoothly. And if that's important to you, great. I do think that if you're going to shoot a portrait mode, or a cinematic mode, as Apple calls it, it probably does that the best out of all the devices that are out there. All of the phones that I've used that mode in, trying to get a little bit of more background bokeh when I'm filming, I usually tone it way down. I hit the little f-stop button and go to like an 8 is what they say on here, and I think 9 is like basically you don't have any more bokeh anyway, but it looks a little bit more natural than just opening it up and using it how it is. The focus is really great. That's one thing that I think that Apple does better than other devices that are out there. If I get really close to something, it shifts focus very smoothly, very easily, especially in video. So if that's something that you use a lot, something I use a lot, if you're wanting to like film a really slow panning shot or something like that, and you want that nice bokeh in the background, or maybe you're filming one thing and then you cross over and then you film another thing as it comes by, and you want that focus to shift, I think Apple does that the best. And I do think that Apple has the ability to really have the highest caliber quality video processing out there, but but I think that they've gotten so relaxed with being such a huge camera king that they've just kind of let it, fade by the wayside while the competition's caught up to them. So everything's so close nowadays, it's just hard to really decide, which phone to get, because like I said, some have pros, some have cons. But I will say, overall, when it comes to ease of getting a good shot, I still think that Apple's probably one of the easier phones to shoot with and get good pictures and good video. Now, notice I didn't say the best, or the greatest, or amazing. It's just good. And that's the thing, is if you just want a phone that's consistently good all the time, it doesn't have to be the best, it doesn't have to be some kind of crazy mind-blowing experience, then the iPhone's one of your best picks out there, if not the best pick. I won't say that, because a lot of this, again, cameras and pictures and videos, it's all really heavily focused on preference. But to me, from what I've seen in years of use, lots and lots of daily shooting and editing, with mobile photography and videography, Apple is a great thing to have in your pocket. I don't really even use this for the camera anymore. I mainly use Android phones now. They've gotten to the point where I just prefer them. But again, it's all preference. It's all preference. Would I not use this? No, absolutely. If this was in my pocket, there's plenty of time where I pull this out, or if I have this and I'm texting somebody and I need to just take a picture and send them something, I'm just going to take it with this. I'm not going to take it with another phone. And the picture quality is great. It's fine. There's plenty of times where it's like, you know, maybe the other phone's got a lower battery because I've been using it all day and I'll just use this to shoot with. It's still as good, if not better, in certain scenarios and situations. So not saying it's bad at all. You can see from these pictures how good it was. You can see from the video how clean it was. You can see how well even the front-facing camera, the audio quality, all of it is just really, really good, and you can't go wrong with it. And you can't argue that it's not great. You can't argue that it's not good. Is it superior? Sometimes, but not all the time. Not like it used to be. It used to be, I think, leaps and bounds better than some of the Android phones that are out there, but not now. It's just really, really a close race. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, drop a comment, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.